Hello to all of our spectacular, legit KidLit viewers. I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Alexis. We're your hosts of Legit Kid Lit. We are excited to welcome author Margreit Maitland today. Could you describe your book, Runaway at Sea, this one, in just 5 words?
Okay, so I did have to practice this a little bit, but my 5 words are an unexpected adventure with heart. That's what I came up with.
I love that.
Ooh,
And
yes.
there's such a really cool story behind how you got the idea for the book. Do you think you could tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. So way back in 2002, early 2002, I went to visit my grandfather who was coming up on his 95th birthday at the time. And so I went down with my son, who was about 18 months, 20 months at the time, to visit with him in Arizona. And he gave me the Journal of Robert's Life, which is actually written by his mother. So Robert's daughter, Anna, um, just remembered all the stories that he told as she was growing up about his life and his adventures. And then she retold them to my grandfather and his siblings. And they said, Mom, write it down. So she wrote it down. My grandfather typed it up. This was about a year before he died. So he gave me the story. It's about 25 type pages, like old fashioned typewriter pages. And the pages are a little yellowed, etc. Um, and then he also gave me this little wooden shoe. It's made out of mahogany and it's carved like in a Victorian woman's shoe size. And it was a trinket that was Robert's actually. And he loved it because his older brother, John, gave him that shoe. And then he passed it to his daughter, Anna, who's my great grandmother. She passed it to my grandfather. He gave it to me. So I took the shoe and I put it, in my trinket place of honor. And I took the story and I put it in the filing cabinet and I didn't look at it. Then a year later, my grandfather died. 2 years after that, my grandmother passed. And my sister and I were sitting down writing my grandmother's eulogy. And I remembered that I had the story. So I went back to the filing cabinet. I pulled it out and I thought, I really read it actually after all that time. And I just was blown away by this incredible, courageous story of my ancestor and what he went through. And he kind of put himself in the soup a bit, like a plan without a plan, and accidentally on purpose sending himself around the world. But it was really quite the adventure. And I thought, I always wanted to write something. I've always been kind of in the creative place as far as I was not really math and science person. I was really more creative. And I thought, now I have an original concept and I had to figure out how to tell the story. So that's the beginning of how it grew into the series.
How cool to have a family tie. I love books that are inspired by family and stories like that rich history. I love
Yeah,
that.
I have to say, I don't think my grandfather was big on, passing things, not necessarily monetarily, but things that were important, and I don't know what he expected when he gave it to me. He just wanted somebody to have it to preserve it and make sure at least the stories, even if they got verbally told.
Yeah.
But I don't think he really knew what kind of inheritance he handed me because it sent me on this journey that I could have never predicted, that it just kind of unfolded in real time as I was learning how to write and doing all this research and figuring out how to tell the story and just learning about myself, learning about Robert, and learning about that time in history, which was really fascinating. This age of sail time in the mid 1800s. So, and certainly in book 3, where there's going to be a lot of American history, the third and final book in the series. So it's a very heavy, westward expansion kind of book. The first 2 are all nautical, Age of Sail, and the next one is really more land-based as Robert makes his way across America. So I'm really enjoying the research on that because it's like reteaching myself history from everything's from Robert's perspective. So if it doesn't happen in front of his face in an earshot or eyesight, it's not on the page. So everything's got to be from his perspective. So it's really fascinating to start to map out this third book of American history unfolding in front of him as he's living it, as he's walking across the country. And I'm really, it's, it's a fantastic way to kind of reteach myself all of that. So
that's really cool. So you said there's going to be 3 books. What age range would you recommend this series?
I would say age 10 and up. I think just because the reason Robert ran away was his older brother was being abusive. And because of that, kind of that background, I feel like, advanced 4th grade or 5th grade, like age 10 and up. If they're reading Harry Potter, they can definitely read my book. So, because mine is not, I mean, Harry Potter is great. I love Harry Potter. I love them. My kids and I read it incessantly. We just really enjoyed that series. But if they can read that, they can definitely read my book.
So we saw on your website that you do author visits and writing workshops. Can you tell us a little more about those?
Well, I was very lucky to reached out to the superintendent of the school, my alma mater, where I grew up in my district, and he's a superintendent. And he returned my call right away because I'm an alumni of the district, and we had a very nice conversation. And he actually advised me. He said, "You know what? We can do author visit, but why don't you create something, really unique to do with the kids?" Which I kind of miss my calling a little bit. I feel like I should have been a teacher. Like I wasn't really thinking clearly in my college years, but so I did. So I created this workshop, which is broken down by units. So teachers can choose from any of the 8 units, mix and match them. They don't have to go in any order. They can go by what is of interest of their lesson plan, what's relevant to what the kids are learning, and what they're interested in. So they can mix and match it. We can do 1 really in depth. We can do 3, surface. We can do, whatever. So I made it very flexible because my mom helped me with that. I have to say moms rock, right? Because my mom really helped me, kind of fine tune it. And then from there, my publisher and I took that and expanded and adapted it to a video boot camp series for grownups. So I have the workshop I do for libraries and schools, and then we have the boot camp series, which is all video. It's evergreen, and you can buy it online and, do it at your leisure, whenever you have time. But it was a lot of fun, that teaching element, which was a complete accident. It was not planned at all. And again, another thing that just unfolded in real time, as I was, moving forward with how do I reach kids. And I because it's history, and because Robert was 12 when he first ran away and stowed away on the ship in the first book, I really felt like it spoke to that age group. And that's why I wrote it with that in mind. And I was hoping that kids that age, if it sparks a love of history this much, or, a love of the water this much, something, if it sparks a love of going back and reading some classic literature, written during that time, et cetera, then I feel, mission accomplished. So
I'm a history teacher. Well, that's what I initially set out to be. I'm not one right now, but I do a little bit. Anyway, I love that because I think it's so important, and books are a great way, and stories, to get kids they like history, but to really get in one step over are books. So I'm excited to introduce this one to my students.
Oh, well,
right at that
you.
age.
And definitely, if you want to do a virtual auto visit, I don't know what state you're in. I'm on Long Island in New York, but I'd be happy to do one. I did one for 3 7th grade classes in Arizona, in Tucson, and it was fantastic. The teacher built this whole curriculum about creative writing around Runaway at Sea, and the kids made up their own books. She sent me all these pictures of their books that they made. And when I did the interview, I was just so impressed with the questions that they asked me and how thoughtful they were and how interested they were in literature and writing and being creative. It was really exciting to me. So
that's that's really cool. All right. Well, now it's time for one of our favorite games. 30 questions in 5 minutes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I'm not good at being short, so
We're going to set a timer and see how many questions you can get to within 5 minutes. You
Okay.
can give one-word answers or more,
Okay.
whatever you want. So, Tiffany, do you have the timer? All right. Tell us when.
Okay.
Ready, set, go. Okay. What is your favorite type of food when you eat out or order in?
Seafood.
Do you have any pets?
I have a cat, Mr. Frosty.
Oh, do you have a guilty pleasure?
Yeah, I put that French vanilla creamer in my coffee, and it's really, really hard to give it up in the morning to reduce my sugar. But it is my guilty pleasure. Yeah.
Same. What's that one song that turns you into a karaoke star?
Aretha Franklin, Respect. Yes.
Yeah. Do you have any embarrassing middle school moments?
I do actually. I in eighth grade, I got a perm. So this was like 1982, not to date myself, like whatever, but I got a perm because I had pin straight hair and I didn't like it and I wanted curly hair. And it was like a big frizz ball, like not even the nice curls. It was just a frizz mess. It was the worst ever. And I had to walk through the halls of my middle school like that for like a couple of weeks before it calmed down.
Oh no.
Awful. Yeah, that was awful.
Okay, mountains or ocean?
Ocean, 1000%.
Soda or water?
Water. I haven't had soda in like 25 years. Yeah, no soda.
Agreed. What what do you like most about writing?
I love creating the world and the imagery, and I love making sure that I use senses, making sure that I'm doing it. Like, how many of the five senses can I put on the page so my readers feel like they're in the story? So,
What do you like least about writing?
writer's block. Hate it.
What is your favorite cake flavor?
Chocolate, and then more chocolate.
Burgers or tacos?
That is a really tough one. It's so hard to pick because but if I had to pick, I lean toward burger. But it is a tough one. That's a tough call.
Outdoors or indoors?
Oh, outdoors, 1000%. Love being outside every second that I can be.
Do you have a hidden talent?
Yeah, I'm a really good dancer. I don't know if it's hidden. Most people that know me really well know I'm really good at ripping up a dance floor. And sometimes once I get out there, like I'm just out there, for the whole night. I don't do it a whole lot, maybe once a year. I go out with some girlfriends and, we hit the dance when we have a good time, but we're on there for a long time. So
Something you wish you loved, but you don't.
I wish I loved cleaning, but I hate it. I really want to fire myself as the CEO of cleaning in my house. Yeah.
Favorite childhood book?
All Creatures Great and Small. Love that book.
When do you write best?
Usually in the mornings to the early part of the day. Unfortunately, the time that I have to write is usually the evenings. So it kind of, it's a tough one, but yeah, earlier is better.
What is something everyone should know about you?
I love nature, I guess, is the thing that I would love to. Yeah, I love being outside. I love being in nature, hiking, canoe, kayaking, whatever, beach related, etc.
All right. Speaking of, do you have a favorite flower?
I do. Hydrangea.
Sweet or salty popcorn?
I want to say neither. I guess salty because I when I make it homemade with coconut oil.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Are you named after anyone?
I am. I'm named after my father's sister, who is Margaret, but my parents didn't want to name me Margaret because there were a million other Margarets, so they made it unique. And, most people misspell it and mispronounce it the first few times. But once we get on a roll, like they're all good. So,
Favorite season?
summer.
What's your dream vacation?
Going back to Australia. I have a lot of family in Australia, and it was a fantastic trip when I was 17. And I am dying to go back there with my kids. Yeah.
What's your favorite part about author visits?
I love, well, as a mom, I loved when I saw my kids learning. Like you can see it happening, the wheels turning. And so when I'm doing author visits with kids and middle schoolers or whoever, I love seeing the excitement about learning something new, about being engaged in something with them. So, oh no, we're out of time.
Ah! So you got to
That was 5 minutes, but
22
we'll finish with
or
you.
23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Favorite chapter in your
We
book?
can ask a few more.
Oh, okay. Favorite chapter in my book? The jungle.
Yeah.
Run away and see the set in the jungle. Writing that was really hard, but fun.
Oh, love that. Your turn, Tiffany.
Okay. If readers enjoy blank, they will enjoy my books.
I have to say, if I had to pick one of the few, I would say Hatchet. Hatchet's a good one. That if they like that one, they'll definitely like mine.
Oh, that's a good comparison.
I love that book, so I think that I would really enjoy yours. What helps you to be creative?
Research. When I research, I find it helps me think of unique things to put in the book for characters to be experiencing.
I love that. If you could leave our readers with one bit of advice, what would it be?
I would say, hold on, I did actually think about this. So I want to quickly page all the way down. Here it is. Approach your goals and dreams with patience and never give up. That's what I would say.
I love that. And I feel like I need that for my life right now.
Yeah.
No, it was really hard to be patient through this whole process of writing and getting published and all of that. And you know, it's easy to give up. It's easy to give up when you get frustrated.
Yeah. Oh, Tiffany froze up.
Yeah, she's frozen. Oh, I think she's coming back.
Sorry, everybody, my camera's cutting out. I don't know where we're at, but thank you so much. This was amazing.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for the invitation. It was really, such a great experience to chit chat with you. And thank you for reading my books. And, I look forward to getting, feedback if you guys read it and finished it or, whatever. I love it. So thank you for having me.
Yeah.
To all of our readers, we hope you enjoyed the show and are inspired to pick up some amazing books. I know I am.
And we'll be back next week with some more KidLit fun. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Tiffany, and we're signing off. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.